Welcome, everyone, to episode 11 of the Unintentional Journeyman. It is now midsummer, the 2nd of July, 2022, and I've been on the unemployment rolls here now for about 2.5 months, I guess. We got sacked in mid-April, was it? And then spent May and June kind of waiting and applying for jobs. And it seems like in the Vanarama regional leagues, there's kind of two waves of jobs. The first wave comes up when the teams that underperformed but didn't get relegated sack their manager and they look for new managers. And that's that first wave that seems to come up around late April, early May or something like that. And through that, I applied to about 4 jobs, places like Chester, I think Altrincham and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I didn't get any of those jobs. And I think they perhaps are looking for more experienced managers. It was really interesting, too, to see how many times they referred to the multiple relegations. So I don't think I have the greatest resume here. But none of those worked out, surprise. But then there's the second batch. I did apply. Oh, by the way, I did apply to a couple of jobs in the Irish leagues, Northern Ireland and Ireland, and did manage to get some jobs in the lower leagues there. But I turned those down. The 2 jobs were offered, and 2 jobs I interviewed for, 2 jobs I got offered, and then I turned both of them down. I want to stay in England, and I want to go back to the Vanarama Regional League, start there, and this time, third time's a charm. I'm going to avoid relegation, knock on wood. But anyway, the second round of job offers seemed to come up, the job openings seemed to come up when the newly promoted teams, for whatever reason, decide to hire new managers. And so there's 5 that came through here. We have Bognor Regis, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Hampton and Richmond, Marine, Nantwich, and Tamworth. All came up with openings, and I immediately applied to all 5 and interviewed for all 5. And that was, about a little bit less than a week ago. And they're all fairly interesting. And the good news is that we'll continue on because I have 3 job offers. I haven't heard from 2 yet, but I have 3 job offers, and I have to decide which one to take. I do think it's a fairly easy decision. And so I just but I still want to run through them here, and then I'm going to pick one and accept it during this episode. I might take a little bit of a pause and continue the episode kind of poking under the hood here and seeing what the team looks like. Or I might just do that now as I kind of open this up and see if we can move forward that way. So if we go into my inbox, the first job offer here comes from Tamworth. And this one's interesting. A transfer budget of $5,600. So that would be less than we had with Farsley Celtic, offering me a wage of £675 per week. And transfer budget of 5.6K and a wage budget of $6,000, which is roughly equal to what we were offered at Farsley Celtic. So similar there. If I take a kind of quick poke around the hood and look at their senior squad, again, just kind of looking at how much of that wage budget is eaten up. Because last year, one of the issues was we had a little bit over £6,000 in weekly wages, but over £3,000 of that were eaten up already by existing contracts to players coming up with us. Those players, in turn, weren't very good and didn't end up playing much past the first half of the year until we got better players in. And then they all started grumbling, and they kind of tore apart the clubhouse morale. So I'd really like to avoid that type of a situation. 1, having most of our wage budget eaten up by existing players that likely won't be playing a half a year from now. And then 2, to make sure that we have as much of that wage budget open as possible. Because really we ended up working with about £3,000 worth of wages per week at Farsley Celtic, and that made it a little bit tricky, especially when we still had a couple of holes in our roster later in the year. This one looks like here $1,400, $2,400, $3,200, and $400, $3,600. So $3,600 roughly of the $6,000 would be taken up by existing wages. So that only leaves. Do all of those wages? Yeah, going to the end of 2023. It's now July of 2022. So they would be all for the next year. It's hard to see. I can't see because I haven't scouted this, so I don't know what these players look like at all. So I can't tell if they're any good or not. By value, they're not bad, but this is vaguely deja vu-ish, if you would, to what it looked like at Farsley Celtic in terms of value and kind of these expensive wages. I mean, 800 pounds per week, 600. Really, are these guys worth it if they were playing in a lower league before this? So I'm a little skeptical here, a little bit nervous about this one, but it's not bad. It would be roughly comparable to last year's opportunity. And 675 pounds per week last year, I was making 750 pounds per week. So a little bit of a wage cut, but I bet I would be in England, and it's a job offer, and it would be my third try to not get relegated here, which is kind of, I'm trying to stubbornly move forward with this, achieve this goal. Second one, 875 pounds per week at Bognor Regis, and Regis maybe, I have to check the pronunciation on that, but zero transfer budget, 3.9 thousand per week. So significantly lower wages and transfer budget, although the transfer budget's kind of small, but significantly lower wages than at Tamworth. And if we look at their, oh, by the way, both Tamworth and I think actually one of these wanted, Tamworth is expecting, I said I could get a mid-table finish. So the expectations are even higher at Tamworth, which makes me a little bit nervous there. The nice thing here about Bognor Regis, though, however, Regis, is that there's only 1,000 pounds of that wages eaten up with existing contracts. That's a good thing in that it leaves us about 3,000 pounds per week to work with, which again is kind of similar to what we had last year. And it didn't really feel like enough. And we have less, but we don't have anybody. We'd have to fill out our whole team. So, I probably a wash. I'm a little bit concerned about the Tamworth's higher expectations, and Bognor Regis still, however, they're avoiding relegation. The expectations a little bit easier. The wages, just in terms of personal satisfaction, I'd be getting a raise of about 125 pounds per week. But there just isn't much to work with the wage budget, and we have 0 players, so we'd have to kind of build the team up from nothing. Now, a nice thing about this is that if I accept this now, I think I'd be starting today, Saturday, July 2nd, as opposed to last time, which was July 18th. And those 2 weeks are huge because most of the contracts now that ended up right at the end of June, those people are probably free. We probably have better access to free agents, better access to loan players. So I'd really like to make a decision now if there is a team that looks good. And that brings me to the next team, Hampton and Richmond. Check it out, 900 pounds per week. Be getting a 150 pound per week wage. That's almost a livable wage. A 1-year contract, and the would be to avoid relegation, which is the league expectation. Check out the transfer budget, 131,000 pounds. That's amazing. That's more than about as much as our entire year salary was at Farsley Celtic last year. And what I'm thinking, the wage budget's only 3,000, right? So, okay, that's not much. But I think what I could do is I could shift all that transfer budget, or almost all of it, into wages. And I don't know how the quick calculation works, but if it is just 131 divided by 12, that's 11,000 pounds per month, divided by 4, which would be per week, which is going to be about 2,750 pounds per week, added on to the wage budget would make it about 5.7, 5.8 pounds per week in wages. That'd be pretty good. I mean, it's not as much as we had last year, so it'd be less. But if we look at the team here, there's only 5 players signed, and they're only eating up about 1,000 pounds worth of wages. I don't expect any of these guys to be any good, but the nice thing is there's not a lot of them, so I don't think they're going to cause too much clubhouse chaos when they get benched for the back half of the year. And that would still leave, if it's 5.7 after we transfer the transfer budget into the wage budget, that would still leave a little bit under 5,000 pounds per week to build up a workable team, which would be more money than what we had last year, because last year we had about 3,000 pounds per week to build up the team. Also, digging a little bit more into Hampton and Richmond Borough, they have a local reputation, 1 star. The media prediction is 21st, but I think they pretty much stick all of the promoted teams into that. And it looks like they actually I wonder if they were up and got dropped and then got re-promoted here, because they have a uniform in the game. And right here they have their logo in the game. So maybe they were an existing team. I'm not sure what it started out with. At one point they must have gotten promoted. Actually, we can probably check it right here in history. What am I doing? So Vanarama Regional National League South. Oh, okay. So in 1819 they got relegated. Yes, so they were in the South League in 18-19. So 2019-20, 2021, 21-22. This is where it's 3 years later they've gotten promoted back up. So they've spent the past few seasons in the lower leagues and have now been brought back up here. And the semi-professional team, which is good, squad personality, fairly loyal, I guess. Estimated value is $125,000, which is 12 times greater than what it was at Farsley Celtic. So a little bit more value here. Training facilities, 1.5 stars, below average. But Farsley Celtic was 0.5. And one of the things I wonder about that team, too, is it seemed like the players we brought in, they just didn't get better, and even no matter how much we played them. And I wonder if it's just because our training pitch was so bad that they just didn't improve over the course of the season. So one of the strategies I had hoped was I'd be able to bring some players in and they would get better as the season went along. But that didn't seem to happen very much there. And if we look at the facilities, 3,500 capacity stadium with 585 seated, built in 1959. It's a pretty old stadium, but stadium condition is good. Surface is grass, which is fantastic. Undersoil heating, no. Roof, no. That's to be expected. Pitch condition is okay. Our pitch condition last year at Farsley Celtic was poor, and there used to be a lot of reference to that, both in the media reports and coaches and managers coming in complaining about it. And also, I wonder if our managers and our coaches kept trying to get me to do short passing, and on a bad pitch, I wonder if short passing was such a bright idea. And so I shied away from that toward the back half of the year, but it didn't seem to matter anyway. I don't know if it did matter at all, but it just seems like we did better on the road for most of the season on better pitches, and I wonder if that played a role in it. So I'd be a little bit more inclined to, of course, like a pitch that's better, and it's probably also better for injuries. Corporate facilities, fairly basic. Below average training facilities, which we saw. Poor youth facilities, which we saw. Youth level 0, which we should be able to perhaps even improve here. But all in all, I think looking at this one, I don't think there's really any comparison. I mean, this is less money, higher expectations, more money, avoid relegation, moderate expect. This would be an easier, or I think slightly easier than trying to stay up with Farsley Celtic. And then if we compare the other two jobs, Nantwich Town here, they have quite a bit of wages eaten up, and I think they offered me about £9,000 in wages, which would be nice, but already 2,200, 2,700, 2,900, 3,200, 3,600, almost 4,000, 3,000, close to 3.83, 4,000 eaten up of that. So that still leaves only 5 free. Now, some of these players might be okay, but even then, if we look at their profile, they're only worth 15K, and their training facilities are poor. The youth facilities are basic. Finances are okay. It seems like still Hampton and Richmond there is still a much better deal. And if we look at the last one, which was, and we still haven't heard from Nantwich Town, so it's very possible they might reject us. Marine, and same situation, 700, so 1,200 and 600, 700, 1,900, about 2,000 of their wages are eaten up. They were talking only about a £4,000 wage budget. And again, both of these teams, all of these teams are avoid relegation except for Tamworth, which I promised a mid-table result for. But if they got 4,000, almost 2,000 eaten up, I don't think there's any comparison. It seems like it's a no-brainer. And again, training facilities poor, youth facilities poor. Their value is a lot less. Unless I was really confident in my abilities and wanted to take on the ultimate challenge, I could try one of these worst teams. But given the fact that I've already not avoided relegation the previous 2 times I've tried for this, I think I need to up the easiness just a little bit or make it less challenging and take the Hampton and Richford job. So that's the thinking, and I don't want to wait. I mean, I could wait to see if the other teams approach me. I could see maybe they'll change the wage budget and stuff like that, but I feel like moving quickly and starting today rather than waiting a week or 2 weeks, is that 2-week gap it's only 2 weeks, but it's a huge 2 weeks, in preparations for the season. So without any further ado, let's take this job. Here we go. Take 3 on avoiding relegation, the unintentional journeyman. Can we finally stick at a place in the Vanarama Regional Leagues? The journey begins right here. Oops. I have to ask for more wages. Gosh, I'm just so excited about this. I forgot about the details. So yes, you've offered me a job. I don't want to screw this up, but yet at the same time, I feel like I have to ask for a little bit more. Can I get 1,000? I doubt it. And I don't want to go over. I don't care really about this money. It's more than I was making. I want to be back. If I screwed this up, I would be extraordinarily sad. Let's just nudge this a little bit. I mean, if I can get 950, 925, I really don't care. Suggest terms. Oof. Okay, well, they'll give me a little bit more of a bonus if I avoid relegation. Let's go 950 and then maybe settle on 925. Wow. 900. Wow, they're really playing hardball here. You know, I don't want to screw around with it. I'm just taking it. Okay. There we go. And now I wonder, can I look at the team? Do I have No, we don't see it yet. So I think they have to make some kind of an announcement or something like that. And I think here we go. It's changed. We have a job. Good luck to Godzilla Blitz, who has been confirmed as Hampton Richmond's new manager. Outstanding. I wonder if the players are excited. What do we have here? Hampton and Richmond hire Blitz as manager. The Hampton and Richmond board have announced the appointment of Godzilla Blitz as the club's new manager. Blitz is said to be relishing. I am relishing the opportunity to develop his football management skills at Beverly Stadium and the Beavers. Oh, nice name. Supporters are sure to be hoping he can make a difference to their team. He replaces previous manager Sean Goater. So I'm replacing a goat, and I'm leading the Beavers. This is getting all kinds of just animal references here. This is pretty cool. Blitz 26. Wow, so this is my fifth year now. I'm getting old. Lists the likes of Nuneaton Borough and Farsley Celtic among his previous employers. Blitz was named Welsh Premier League Head Coach of the Year in 2021, and his appointment could be considered quite a coup for a club of Hampton and Richmond standing. Really? Don't they know I've been relegated twice already? Seriously, quite a coup. I failed twice before. It's interesting. Okay. Hampton and Richmond. Welcome to Hampton and Richmond. Philosophy, sign young players for the first team. Yep, that's not there. I'd like to formally welcome you to Hampton and Richmond. The board would like to assure you that you can rely on their full backing. Great, and they are looking forward to working with you. Well, I'm looking forward to you working with you too, Paul. In terms of your contract with the club, you've been given a deal into June 2023 worth £900 per week. I love it. £150 per week, more than I was getting last week after completely botching up that job. In order to aid with the transition, Paul Newfill would like to hold a meeting with you regarding the club, its history, and the delegation of staff responsibilities. This is all pretty fairly boilerplate. I will attend a meeting in a moment. However, the big moment of truth here. What does the social feed say? Yeah, we'll just accept that stuff. That's just changing the social feed. The moment of truth here is, again, going back to those coaching licenses. If we look at my profile, I am on a National B license, and then we ran out of money last year, so I couldn't get an A license. But if the club has money, I can ask right away, and maybe they'll say yes, and I could get a National A license. So when we click on the finances, we're hoping for a positive balance. With $131,000 transfer budget, I would have to think we have money in the bank, right? I mean, that would just make sense. 1, 2, 3... Oh my goodness! We have £670,000. This team is loaded. Wow! We have 10,000 scout budget, 10,800 scouting budget, transfer budget, 131,000, and I can make an adjustment. I'm going to almost adjust that immediately, but that's a lot of money. What's our projections here? Because I would think we're going to lose a lot of money this first year. Projection at the end, yeah. So they expect we're going to lose 170,000, but a profit 140,000, that makes sense because we're not going to make much money down here, and we're going to spend a lot. So, but just to have that buffer, we have landed in a great place. I am excited because Farsley Celtic had 30,000, I think, or so, and Nuneaton Town had a similar amount, and both of those teams were just in the hole quick. It's expensive up here. In the regional leagues, the Vanarama regional leagues, and we were just going through money like crazy, and there's not a lot of income, and you don't get TV deals and stuff like that, but that's over £500,000. That is fantastic. So, having said that, will they let me start a coaching course? Sometimes I've found they don't let you do this right when you start out. They want you to stick around the club and stuff like that. I think it will be beneficial for the club to allow me to take a coaching course to further my skills. Yes. Okay. We agree. Yes. I'm going to school. Even if we totally screw this up, I should end up with a national coaching license out of an A. And that will probably mean that even if I totally botch this up and we get relegated, I should be able to get another job here. Not that I'm thinking I'm going to fail, but I don't have a ton of confidence right now. And that would mean that we would be able to perhaps get yet another job in the Vanarama regional leagues here. So all things are good. Do I want to make a board request of youth facilities? I kind of feel like I do, but let's wait on that for a little bit. It's all about me and my coaching course right now. So let's leave that in there. Okay, 1,700 pounds available. So we're eating up about 1,200 pounds, but I'm going to shift that around in a little bit. And Blitz to study for coaching qualifications, outstanding. They're paying the 600 pounds out of the 670,000 pounds we have. This would give me a national A license. All things are excellent. We have landed in a very good place. I think actually I'm going to call it quits here for this episode right now. That went a little bit longer than I thought it might be, but lots of fun stuff happening. Choosing jobs is really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do here, and I'm excited to kind of dig into this team. Actually, let's finish out the episode by digging into the team here. You need to create a tactic before you can pick your team. Yeah, but I just want to see what they're like here. Dynamics, general info, what do we got? So we have a bunch of people here. That's not helpful. Oh, custom. Let's do epoxy squad view. We have 5 people on wages. And Noel Layton, Ollie Milton. That's a kind of cool name. Adao Manuel. Where's he from? Oh, he is English. Okay. Johnny Byrne and Sam Chettleberg. And some pretty decent numbers on a couple of them. Oof, concentration of 1. Boy, we really have to use short sentences with this guy. 150 pounds a week, so not much going on value there. But what do they look like? Noel Layton, he is a striker, and he's... Oh, hey, that's not horrible, right? Put him up at striker. No suitable rules yet. We don't know what that is. But finishing a 9... Wow, this is strangely similar to the horrible strikers we had last year. But good pace and acceleration. 23 years old. I don't think he's our answer. But he's certainly someone to be out there in the first part of the season here. Ollie Milton, another striker who... Good aggression and bravery. Gosh, not much else. 22 years old. How much are we paying him? 250 pounds a week? Oh, that's just sad. He's got good stamina and work rate, though. He can run around for a long time. Not do much while he runs around, but he can run around. Did he play last year? Hampton Richmond, yeah. So what's his career? What did he look like last year? 6.57 in the league below that. Oof, goodness gracious. Why would you sign him? Noel Layton, what was his stats last year? 6.5, 22 appearances, 6 goals. 6.5 in the league below, and you signed him for 275 pounds per week? Maybe that's just kind of congratulations, you got promoted and we're going to reward you with the contract. But gosh, he's a key player. I don't think so. I think you guys are both going to be taking a lot of bench time by the end of the year. How about Adao? What is he here? He's a defender on the right-hand side, marking of 9, tackling of 8, acceleration of 8, pace of 12. That's not bad. Composure, determination of 6. Work rate of 9. I mean, nothing really outstanding here. 6.63 for all year. What happened to all their good players? They must have had players with good ratings if they got promoted here. Ooh, here's some kind of bright green. What do we have? Johnny Byrne, attacking midfielder. Interesting. Passing of 9. Okay, technique 13. Flair. No suitable roles yet. Acceleration. Good physicals over here. He might not be, but can't finish to save his life. But passing, positioning a little bit off. Teamwork, where is it? 9. Vision, 12. Ooh, work rate 6. Kind of a killer. Stamina 6. Ooh, that's kind of a killer. What was his stats last year? 6.34. This team was terrible. How did they get promoted? Or what happened to all the good players? Sam Chettlebar, were you good? What were your stats last year? 6.63. Wow, we picked all the lame people. Attacking midfielder on the left, midfielder on the left, and attacking midfielder in the center. And pretty good physicals. Wow, natural fitness of 17. He just doesn't have to do anything and can walk around. Stamina of 11, work rate of 5. He is a very determined player, and he's only 18 years old. I kind of like the determination. Again, concentration of 1, though. Just, we'll really have to use a lot of very short sentences and pictures to communicate with this guy. Aggression of 12. We got a pretty aggressive team here. Well, the 5 players we have. Finishing at 2, not going to happen, huh? Yeah, so anyway, I'm thinking we have quite a bit of just baggage here. And we're going to want to shift over our transfer budget into wages and get going. So, yeah, there's a quick look at the team. I mean, obviously, it looks like we need everything. So it's time to get to work. And I know last time I took on a lot of non-contract players thinking that they weren't part of my wages. And that just kind of completely messed things up. So I'm hopeful to kind of avoid that situation going this year. Anybody with attributes down here? What do we look like for defensive? Anything good here? Ooh, heading, jumping, marking. Wow, these guys just don't look very good. Okay, not much there. How about attributes? Attacking? Anything good? Finishing? 12? Well, free throw. Okay. Passing 3, vision 2. Some fairly incomplete players at best, but okay, that's that. Lastly, physical. Maybe just take a quick look. Pretty good. No Leighton again. Stamina 3. Good Lord. This guy's not bad. Ollie Milton. Good physicals. Yeah, we spotted him. So anyway, yeah, just kind of, it looks like we have some work to do. And I think that's should take us forward right now. What my next plans will be, it's July. I'll probably come back towards right at the beginning of the season and talk a little bit about what kind of shape we've got the team in and what signings we've made, and maybe we should have some loans in there. I'm excited to get the 16 more days than last year, and I'm hopeful that will get us ready for the first part of the season a little bit better than last year. But wow, there's a lot of work to do. Do we have any staff here either? There's me again. Okay, so no, we have 0 staff. So hopefully we can bring in some better staff members here, get a couple scouts, get a couple physios, maybe 1 physio, assistant manager, a few coaches, and off we go. Well, there's the good news. So I was kind of concerned that after getting relegated twice that I wouldn't be able to get any kind of a job back in England. But it seems that teams are willing to overlook my previous failures, and we will take off here with Hampton and Richmond. Go Beavers! Thanks for watching. We'll be back with episode 12 next, where we kind of take a look at what we've done with the team and probably play our kickoff match of the 2022-2023 season. Our goal will be to avoid relegation. It is take 3 for me. I don't know what I would do if I were to fail 3 times at this. That would be pretty crushing. But let's not go again. Don't look where you don't want to go. Right. Thanks for watching. We'll be back at some time in the near future with another update.